Hi, I'm Chantal, and welcome to my channel, a place of movies, shows, and commentary that you did not know that you needed. So grab a snack and let's chat. Hey, this is not a mic, even though I wish it was. I just need it for some emotional support because my hands, they didn't know what to do and it was stressing me. But here's my truth. After finishing Kim Kardashian's Hulu drama series, All's Fair, I felt somewhat of a connection. Okay, walk with me. Because just like Kim Kardashian, I have always dreamt of being a YouTube commentary video, and she is dreaming, no fiending, to become a lawyer. And dream she did, because this original series felt like a fantasy of what she believed being a lawyer is like. So as my first gift to you in our very promising relationship, I sat through 9 hours of Kim Kardashian's acting, so you don't have to. So let's get into it. So understandably, I was not expecting immense and accurate realism, but the show really does try to be inspirational and motivational in its try-hard feminism. That feels as though it's supposed to be knocking on the door of someone's reality. But plot holes and semantics aside, All's Fair is a series that follows 5 no-nonsense patriarchy exterminator divorce lawyers who seem to know more fashion jargon than they do laws. Like, I kid you not, these people play hooky one time to go to the Milan fashion show. Their working desks are always so pristine and so clean. There is no open book in sight, okay? That table has never seen an open book. It looks less like an office place and more like a modeling agency. Supposedly, they are supposed to be the best lawyers in the state. Actually, the best lawyers in the country. Yet here they are going to Milan Fashion Week. Guys, the law stocks are plummeting, yeah? Get back in the office. Now's not the time. Don't get me wrong, the offices are beautiful, the architecture eats down. This law firm is the definition of not like other girls. But their spending didn't just end at their visual aesthetics and their to-kill outfits. Listen, they ate. But they spared no expense at the cost, guys. This is an all-star cast who I can't even blame too much for being there, because have you seen this economy? Yeah? All are suffering and the rent continues to be due. So like, I give them a little bit of grace for being here, even though they really shouldn't. As they could all be attributed, I can say one sentence to describe who they are. I'm not even exaggerating for the plot. This is literally the plot. So first of all, we have Alora, Kim K herself, who is a walking hyperbole because apparently without her, the world of law would just stop spinning. Feminism would be a bust. She is just that amazing. For some reason, everybody wants to be her so bad, but on the same hand, they also find her equally as suffocating because she's just that amazing. But then we have a little bit of diversity, okay? And that is Liberty, the Brits, who to me suffers from border jumping insecurities, a term I coined myself, to the point that she thinks her friend is ignoring her because she is an American and not because her friend is possibly grieving the death of her husband of 30 years. Then we have Emerald Green, who is our ex-cop turned law investigator, who seems to despise men so much that she had 3 IVF babies and has been raising them by herself. And you know what? Real. Because have you seen the states of men? I see her vision and I'm kind of walking the vision with her. And then we have Carrington, who I will refer to as Car because saying Carrington is just too much. She is our antagonistic, grudge-holding gremlin who seems to be unable to go through 2 sentences without verbally assaulting somebody. And she suffers from a deep, when I say deep, I mean deep narcissistic wound. And then we have Dina, mother. Lastly, the only man who seems to matter in this universe, Chase Monroe, or Chase Moron, as I like to coin him. He is Alora's husband, who is a beautiful concoction of imposter syndrome with a slight inferiority complex, sprinkled with a dash of insecurity and a cherry of a sex addiction. Chase is not a divorce lawyer. He is an NFL player. Now let me hold your hand, okay? Are you tired of being belittled and subjected to dad jokes in your law firm? Catering to the patriarchy to get by while planning your escape for the past 4 months? Well, Mother Dina has been watching you slowly die inside and says you should leave. Please. And if you leave now, you can get 3 potentially full-time multi-millionaire partners for the price of 2. So get to packing, chica, before the girlies. That was literally the first 10 minutes of the show. It felt like an ad. The music, the camera work, the line delivery. Ad. And so after this ad, Alora, Liberty, and Emerald sets off to greener pastures with the help of Mother Dina, forgetting, actually rather deliberately leaving behind Carrington. And boy, Does she never let them forget? Now, why did they leave her, you ask? Because she's a lunch-stealing, empathy-lacking, directionless gremlin. Just to summarize. And thus, the Grant, Green, and Ronson, their surnames, law firm is born. A place by women, for women. Which looks like anything but a place of hard-working law abiders. Like, you guys cannot tell me that this outfit is not criminal. Yeah? Would a law abider wear such? So shows like these tend to have a formula, you see. There's usually a case or two that needs to be solved or sorted, while in the background, the characters' stories are unfolding. And it's somewhat in a balanced way. But in this series, 10 minutes of the show is dedicated to the cases, and the rest of the 40 minutes of the total 50 minutes is dedicated to whatever the hell they have decided the plot shall be. And as somebody who enjoys shows like these that are about a specific job field, this hurt me. And to add insult to injury, the lackluster cases stopped after episode 5. Like, what was even the point, guys? As a show that is truly trying to take itself seriously as a law show, the law is few and far between. They literally kept edging us with threats of taking people to court, and you will see me in court. You don't want to battle this out in court? And I'm like, actually, yes, I do. Battle it out in court. I want to see the court. There was no court. It was just a little teasing, a little edging of court. A courtroom was never seen. It was the same 4 walls and chairs and tables. Just different outfits and different hairstyles, because for some reason Kim Kardashian, every single scene must have a different hairstyle. But we won't even, I wanted to see them debate, okay? I wanted to see what they had with the actual laws of the state of California. So as episode 1 continues to unfold after the women have built their empire, we begin with our first 2 cases, which kind of set the tone of what the rest of the show is going to be like in terms of cases. The first being a woman who is divorcing her husband because he has intimate appetites which she is unable to meet. Because 1, it's not really her thing, and 2, she ended up falling in love with the 3rd member that he decided to bring into their relationship. Honestly, if that's not full circle, then I don't know what is. And then the second case is that a woman is being divorced by her husband because she cheated. And that breached their prenuptial contract. And so for both of these ladies, if they divorce their men, they're gonna be left on the streets with nothing. And what I realized in these cases, and also in the fewer cases to come, is that they all border on somewhat toxic feminism. In some cases, even throwing themselves head on into the toxicity. Because why are you framing it like I must root for her?
I never once cheated on you.
I only slept with him because of the way he looked at me.
And another similarity is that the women are always cashing out with exorbitantly high settlements. Which, don't get me wrong, in any other world that would be extremely satisfying. But it's only satisfying when it's done right. But here it just seems to fall flat. And so as we move from episode 1 towards episode 2, 3, and 4, we get a better progression and understanding of the individual stories of our divorce lawyers. You see, with Alora, as successful as she is, she unfortunately is suffering and struggling in the world of love. As her husband, Chase, seems to want a divorce because he is currently unhappy. Emphasis on currently, because one thing a man will do is play in your face. And he is so unhappy to the point that he decided to cheat with her favorite secretary named Milan, who he gets pregnant. Okay, there are many who he is sleeping with. And here's the thing, when it comes to Milan, my conspiracy theory is that she truly must be Chase's real wife, because the emotional outbursts, the anger, and the entitlement that this woman has towards this man is par and the same level to somebody who was stepped out on, and not somebody who was a full knowing participant in the sin of adultery. And she enjoyed it too, girl. She was having a time and a half. No, because guys, like, quick rant, yeah? This woman slept with this man multiple times, knowing that he was married, knowing that she was Alora's favorite secretary. So seemingly she has no guilt. And then to add on top of the already high mountain, when confronted, she makes it seem as though it's Alora's fault that she slept with Alora's man. Because Alora is just so bright that who wouldn't want to live her life? Who wouldn't want to be her? Everybody wants to be her. And her man is no exception. Like, literally, that's what she said. So as ironic as it is, the divorce lawyer is going through a divorce. And she should also be going through a friendship breakup as well. Because tell me why her girls knew that her man was not shit from the beginning, but they said absolutely nothing about it. And their reasoning for saying nothing, to me, was whack. And so who needs friends? Who needs enemies when you have friends like these? Yeah? When you have friends like these, a husband like this, a paralegal secretary like this. Thus, in tropey antagonistic fashion, Carrington becomes Chase's lawyer, and she is not arresting. She wants this woman penniless, on the streets, groveling, to the point that she is even bargaining with the sperm babies that they have in the sperm bank, while simultaneously also trying to sleep with her woman because, like I said, Chase is the only man in this universe that truly matters. Which I'm pretty sure is illegal. And naturally, Alora and Mother Dina are not having it, yeah? So there is a constant back and forth. And bad romances seem to just be the flavor of the season. Because Liberty too is suffering. She just doesn't know it yet, but I know. And I say this because her man publicly proposes to her after she had deliberately and repeatedly said that she wants to take things slow. And to me, that was a boundary that was set, sealed, signed off, and delivered. But it seemed to not have been received because that man continues to do that tomfoolery. And so she goes to the bathroom, never to return. And at this point, I was so ready to get up and give this show its first and only standing ovation and applause. But she goes back to the man. And she accepts the proposal. You're beyond saving. But let's take a deep breath, because Mother Dina is our light in this tunnel of heartache, and she is happily married. But the happiness ends there because unfortunately her husband has cancer. She, through a moment of weakness, ends up kissing another man. And the girl seemed to try to convince her not to tell her husband, whose name is Doug, about the kiss, even though Dina is insistent that she is going to tell her man. She is insistent that there are no secrets between them, that there should not be secrets between them. And I was like, yes, girl, please. I'm telling you guys, dead these friendships now. Dead them today. What do you mean don't tell my husband? I want to tell him and now you're telling me not to tell. Leave me. And through the advancement of the 4th episode, we see that Emerald, who swears up and down that the only men that she needs are her sons, ends up going to a singles only party to mingle and mix with the other singles, potentially to see if there is still something out there. But Emerald's hopes for potentially finding something do dwindle because unfortunately men will always find ways to show you why you should pick the bear. Unfortunately, she does get violated by this man, a man who the other woman, specifically Dina, assumes is on somewhat of a revenge tour because he may be out to get Dina over a case that she won over this man's father, which led to his bankruptcy and ultimately his self-exit. And Emerald, to them, unfortunately, was the first part of his sick plan. Naturally, Emerald is traumatized. She does end up telling her sons of what happened and they are not happy. And instead of just sitting around and waiting for the police to do something, because the only true realism in this show is that the police here also suck, Emerald and the girls decide to do their own investigating, trying to find and pinpoint this man. And so as they are inching closer and closer to pinning this man, the police barge in one day. Sorry, Miss Green, can we ask you a few questions about the man who you recently opened a case on? Yes. Have you found him? Yes, we have. He's dead. Messy, messy, messy. But in no way is any of it truly satisfying. And obviously this excludes all the parts about SA, because this is a show that has the formula, it has the progression, it has the plot points of absolute mess. It's just the acting and some of the lines that just deter it from its potential to be better than what it is. And I don't know if you noticed, but for a show that is an F men and F the patriarchy, F the misogyny, it really is centered and focused on men. Yes, the men are shitty, but it is still men that are the main focal points, the main driving points of their stories. But anyways, if you like this video, do drop a like on this video and share your thoughts and possibly subscribe too. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.